How do you guys know? Because I noticed that there's green coffee traders, not traders, but people who import green coffee and sell it. I know that there's at least one of those on your data donor list. How do you know that they're giving you all the data, not just the
The
favorable data?
the real simple answer is we don't right now because we don't have a budget or let's say financing to support a budget that would involve some kind of a data verification spot check or verifying the square root of contracts that somebody gives. Our agreement with people that they sign says that they will share with us any and all contract data related to coffees that would score in the specialty range of about 80 points. So the reality is, yeah, someone could be gaming the system, and you and I have talked about this before. I think at this point we're too soon in the thing to see anyone very effectively or to their own gains gaming the system, because I don't think we yet know what's going to be better or worse for different actors. The price comes out higher in the guide or lower in the guide, and I just don't think that we're sophisticated enough, even understanding in various contexts what these numbers mean for someone to want to screw with them. That might be naivete on my part. That might be blind hope. I'm not sure. But that is our feeling now, is without a verification protocol. I mean, Peter, for to his credit, does a great job of poring over data, looking for identification markers that would flag duplicate entries, right? Because we have exporters who sell to the same roasters, all of them being data donors. And so we have to, in some way, shape, or form, identify the duplicates so that they're not in the guide twice, if you know what I'm saying.
So one hole that I can see there is that if these people are touting that they only sell specialty coffee, specialty grade coffee, and your guide is only looking at specialty grade coffee, if the fuckery they're engaging in happens with commercial coffee, as long as they're not being sinister with regards to the specialty side of things, they're not going to get revealed and their fuckery won't get exposed.
Yeah, I hear you 100%. I think at this time I choose to set that aside and focus on what the information can and will give us.
Okay.
Whether it reveals to me or not that, importer X is also selling a lot of below 80 point coffee as specialty, I don't know. I mean, one of the things that the guide has already identified is that basically coffees that are 80 to 83 points at full container loads are trading as commodity coffee. The price goes down when the commodity market goes down. The FOB price total on a median basis is below most accepted costs of production. So I think already you can see how there's a lot of commodity coffee that's even in our data set now. It's being traded against the commodity market. It's at FOB prices below the cost of production. When the commodity market goes down, the price of that coffee goes down. Meanwhile, anything 84 and above just keeps going up, regardless of what the market is doing. And so I think that there are different ways that we'll look at and sort of interpret that data and provide insights about it that get us to a place of better, clearer understanding about what are we actually paying for and what do we actually need to pay for in order to maintain access to it. And I fear these giant volume buckets of relatively low quality coffee. I mean, if we get to a point where we start to say, let's think about this PR campaign, and if we get to a point where anything below a certain level is exploitive of people and planet, and anything above is better. There's a whole lot already in the specialty coffee market that maybe doesn't belong in the good camp, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying, based on the numbers that we have and the cost of production figures that I know from various countries, that's going to be new information for us. New is maybe a generous term, but that's going to be information for us. And the more widely available that information is, the more likely it is to sort of generate change.
It's very interesting you say that, because if you look at the list of data donors, at least from a roaster perspective, a lot of those people are people who have been on this podcast and are people that I can personally verify as having the highest of integrity with regards to their intentions in the way that they relationship buy, and in their intentions in wanting to pay above fair price, generously above fair price, for the coffee that they're buying, in the hopes of securing their longevity in the industry. So not only do they want to do the right thing by the people who are their suppliers, they also want to, they know where this is going. They see what the story is as it unfolds. It doesn't look good, but they also are smart business people that want to build relationships with producers and ensure their long-term viability as a producer so that they can continue to be suppliers long-term. That is a fabulous business model, right? That's a great long-term strategy. So, that's a mechanism where everybody's conspiring to everybody's success, which is the hallmark of Mapa Forward. But that's not the scope of where most people who are buying green coffee fit in our industry, right?
And to be totally honest, I think that what we will see as we get larger data donors to contribute their data to the thing is we'll see, again, not giving any judgment to this, but we will see different numbers. And we will actually see what is actually more representative of market behaviors. What we see today is pretty tip of the pyramid, like I've said. And when I talk to green coffee merchants about the numbers that the guide has, they say, well, you need some more real information in there because people are not paying us those prices. And to my mind, the more representative the information is, the more inclusive it is of different actors in the specialty coffee sector, the more valuable that information is. Whether it takes on the rep of being more bullshitty as a guide or not, I'm not really sure. But I don't think neither Peter nor myself set out to create a guide for only the fancy coffee players. We wanted to set out to create a guide for price discovery and different benchmarks for the entire sector. And so the more data we have from the more different kinds of company in the specialty coffee sector, I think the more truthful it is, and the less likely it is for someone something I've heard a lot of is, oh, that's just a bunch of fancies, I don't have to pay attention to those numbers. I think it'll be harder and harder to say that.
How do you mitigate the challenge ahead of you with regards to having the people who are the less than desirable players and actors in the problem not wanting to be forthright in giving you data?
Is your question, how do we deal with the fact that they're not going to want to participate?
Yeah.
I don't know what'll happen. I mean, I feel like our growth has been, I'm not going to say organic, because it's definitely taken effort, and a lot of convincing and a lot of conversations. But I do think that there is some element of comfort in saying, we contributed to the guide. We also don't know how we were doing compared to how those prices are going to come out or what we need to do as a result and how we have to change our practices. But we're in the guide.